other people's opinions isn't necessarily that big of a deal. People are going to have their opinions. But when you take that opinion and attach a feeling to it, it becomes yours now. It's not just their opinion, it's just now your opinion of yourself, because you believe that the way that they perceive you is actually the way that you are doing it. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Built Not Given. I'm your host, Jake Strickland, and yes, I did miss last week. That was not on purpose. I just chose not to because I didn't like what I had recorded and put together. So hopefully this episode is going to be all right because it's getting posted regardless. But with that being said, let's get into it. This week's episode is going to run along the lines of last week's or the week before last episode, kind of how your beliefs might shape the decisions. But now this week is going to be talking about how confidence and our perceived idea of confidence might shape our opinions. And I'm going to use myself as an example pretty much throughout this entire episode. I'm going to use myself as the sounding board of somebody that might have confidence or somebody that doesn't lack confidence or somebody that doesn't really allow other people's opinions to affect what they're going to do throughout their day-to-day life. So, obviously, with that being said, let's get into it. I get told a lot of the times, or I get told like all the time, that I don't care what anybody thinks. You know, some people might be able to do something one night and I think about it for 2 weeks afterwards. Fortunately for me, my brain does not work like that. So I don't deal with the constant thoughts of, oh, did I say this or did I say that? Should I done this? Should I done that? Once something's done, it's kind of done. And I don't really value other people's negative opinions about me too much. And with that, the truth is, I don't know that I value other people's positive opinions about me that much as well. So what I mean by that is, if someone has a if somebody says something negative towards me, it doesn't roll off my back, but it kind of does because it doesn't really bother me that much. Like there's going to be people that dislike what I do, dislike what I say, but I'm going to continue to say that because I mean, who cares? But with a ladder of positive feedback, is I also let that kind of roll off my back because I know me, and for me, if I let all of these people tell me what I'm doing, oh, you're doing this, you're doing that, it's going to get to my head, and then I'm going to have an ego problem, and nobody wants an ego problem. Or I think a lot of people want an ego problem. I don't want people around me to deal with me having an ego problem. So when I started looking into this episode, trying to figure out how I can word it in a way for people to understand, because I've also been told that I don't think the same way, and the way that I process things is not normal, which I 100% agree. It's definitely not normal and probably not something you should take and model the way that you process things about. But I think there is some value in the way that I do it. Talking about the negative emotions and the people that talk down on us. When it comes to confidence, we can look at people and say, oh, they're doing all these different things, even though all these people are saying negative things. But that person that we perceive to have confidence, doesn't value any of the negative things that are being said. We're like people on the outside looking in actually value those negative things more than the person that's out there doing it. And in my case, the inverse is also true. People are like, oh, you're doing this, this, and this, but the person that's actually doing the things doesn't really value them as much. I mean, yes, it's great, it feels good, but at the end of the day, job's not finished. And that's just kind of where my brain goes when it comes to the confidence aspect. But at the same time, before I got to this point of where I'm at now, fortunately, I do look back and I wonder how many times did I say no to something that I really wanted to say yes to, but I was so terrified of what people were going to think. I'll think of an example right now. This happened like I think it was a couple weeks ago. Anyway, I got asked to do Dancing with the Athens Stars. It's a thing that Project Safe puts on every single year, and I'm involved with Project Safe. It's domestic abuse center. It's kind of like a go-to that you can call if you're going through something like that. And if you are, then obviously I really believe that they can help. And if you're on that topic, if you are going through something like that, please reach out to me. I mean, it doesn't have to be through any sort of public form. You can use that Gmail form that I've got in a fake email. It doesn't bother me. I'll just get you in touch with the people that you need to be in touch with. But that being said, back onto that topic, I don't know how to dance. I've never danced a day in my life, and I'm pretty sure flashbacks right now of people telling me, God, you have no moves, do you? And they're right, I don't. I can't dance for crap, but you know what I can do? I can put on a show. So that's kind of where I decided when I saw the title Dancing with the Athens Stars. I was like, oh my God, I have no idea how to dance. But who cares? Really? Like, what does it matter? I go out there and make a fool of myself. Oh, great. Now people are going to be talking about that event that I'm so grateful to be a part of because of me doing the stupid thing. And that puts Project Safe back on top. So that was where that kind of went down a rabbit hole there. But that's kind of how, that's the way my brain works. You know, if somebody asks me to do something and it's going to positively affect them and I care about that person, and I'm going to do it regardless if I look dumb or not, because it is what it is. I'm going to look dumb some other time for free. Might as well do it and help somebody else out. But yeah, like get back on track to where I was going. But before all of that, before I came to this where I'm at now, is obviously I had times where I said, no, I'm not going to do that because I'm afraid of what somebody's going to say. Or I'm afraid of the way that somebody's going to perceive that action. I'm afraid that I'm going to be looked upon negatively because of that, or I'm going to be judged. I was always looked on negatively just because I was a terrible student, like awful kid. Like I just, if you think of somebody that you like don't want your daughter around, that was the guy that I was for the longest time. So I'm not talking about that because like that obviously I was doing that negatively impacting people, but I'm talking about things that I was asked to do that would put me in a spot to potentially be embarrassed about. I said no over and over and over and over again. And what I started to realize was that that's kind of ingrained in us because I attached the feeling of their negative opinion to me. I was like, I don't want to, I've seen somebody else do something stupid. I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be the guy that trips in the restaurant. Nobody wants to be the guy that trips in the restaurant. But I saw that that was affecting every single thing in my day to day actions. And I want to ask you this: as a kid, we loved to dance, but then somebody came along and said, "Oh, you can't dance. You look stupid." It's not that opinion that stuck with you. It was the embarrassment feeling of saying that you look stupid while you danced is what stuck with us, and which is why we don't dance anymore. Or like singing. You know, you might be able to love singing as a kid, and granted, it might not have been that good, and somebody might have came across the way and said, "Hey, you kind of sound dumb," and you might have sounded dumb, but you didn't know you were a kid. And that's I guess that's the point that I'm trying to make is other people's opinions isn't necessarily that big of a deal. People are going to have their opinions. But when you take that opinion and attach a feeling to it, it becomes yours now. It's not just their opinion, it's just now your opinion of yourself because you believe that the way that they perceive you is actually the way that you are doing it. And granted, like I said, there are people in your life, and I have people in my life that if they tell me something, hey, don't do that, you look dumb, then I'm going to respect it because those are people that I care about. And I don't believe that they would tell me that I look dumb just because I look dumb. And the same it goes that I don't believe they would tell me if I was doing good if I wasn't doing good. If fortunately the people in my life now know that hey, if I'm not doing good, tell me I'm not doing good and I'll figure it out. Like that's just part of it. But what I don't think that we should do is we can't take these negative emotions that other people you can't take these negative opinions that other people attach to your name and then assign a feeling to them, whether it be good or bad. Now I know it feels good to be told you're doing good, and that's not what I'm trying to get at. Like you should take compliments. You should believe that you're amazing. But what I'm trying to get across is that it's you. You should be the one to believe that you're amazing. You shouldn't have to have outward influence telling you how good you're doing to know that you're doing good. We've got to learn how to love ourselves, number one, trust that what we're doing is the right thing. And number three, have people in our lives that we know are going to tell us what we need to know. And anybody else that does not fall in that very small circle, it doesn't matter because their opinion of you should not affect the decisions that you make tomorrow. And I'm only 21. I'm young. And I know that people listening to this are like, oh, you don't have any idea. But I want to say this, please trust me, I do. I do have an idea. I do understand everything that you're would want to tell me if you were on the other side of this. I understand and I know where you're coming from. Truly, I've had this conversation time and time again with many, 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 many different people, and they all say very something similar. It's like, oh, you don't know, you're young. And yes, I am young, but I do know. I know that the only reason a feeling or emotion is there is because we labeled it. Somewhere over time, we understand that negative comments means a negative feeling, and a positive comment means a positive feeling. So what I'm asking of y'all is to next time you're sitting down thinking, "Oh, I don't know that I want to do that," or "I'm afraid that I'm going to do that," afraid of this, afraid of that. I want you to sit down and truly sit with yourself and ask, am I afraid of what's there, or am I afraid of what people are going to say along the way to there? 9 times out of 10, it's going to be what you're afraid of what people are going to think until you get to that point. We all have a dream, we all have a goal, but sometimes, and I know I catch myself doing it too. Don't get me wrong, all the time. We have a goal, or we have a dream, we have this idea of this perfect thing out there, but the the space between where we're at and where we're going is filled with so much unknown. And like I've mentioned before over the time of this, when I've been doing this podcast, that unknown area usually comes to our brain as a scary thing. But I want you to know that that scary thing is rarely as scary as you make it. Yes, I'm not going to lie and say it's not scary because it's terrifying. I'm terrified every day I wake up. Don't know what's going to happen next. I don't know. But what I do know is that I trust myself now after I've done a lot of the work to figure out how to. But I trust myself now to know that if I'm still pushing, I'm going the right way. And the only way that I got to that was through taking myself out of the situation, taking the way that other people make me feel, taking every outside factor, emotion. I took that away, stuffed it away, found a way to love myself more than anybody else. I know it's unpopular to say, but I do. I love myself more than anybody I know. But like 0.01%. So the people that I love, you're right there. I'm just like 0.01% past you. Not in a selfish way, not in a way that, oh, I'm better than you, or not in any sort of way like that. Solely in the way that I know that no matter what somebody else tells me, no matter what somebody else says, all it's going to do is roll off my back. Because at the end of the day, I've sat down with myself and figured out what I want, what I need, and how I'm going to get to where I want to go. So, with that being said, I'm going to end the episode there. I'm not going to give you anything to take away from this. I'm going to encourage you to listen to this and figure out where you want to go from here. But yeah, y'all have a good rest of your week.